Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Liquid Tyler versus Root Drewbie here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Liquid Tyler spawning as the blue Protoss player on the north side of Xel'Naga Caverns. Meanwhile, Root Drewbie spawning over here on the south side as the red Terran. So blue Protoss versus red Terran here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Recently, I've been trying to upload all of my videos in just one part now. So what I think I'm going to try to do is, if a video is over 20 minutes, I'll probably break it up into two, just because I do need a little bit of a break. But the majority of the game should now be in one video parts, or at least hopefully in one video parts for you guys, and you guys will be able to enjoy it even more. So Root Drewbie, and both of them just talking back with each other, or talking to each other right now. Production tab is up as this game gets underway. Now, no one opening up with any cheese play, just a standard pylon here, no cannon rushes, no proxy 2 racks, as I believe both of them are just opening up with a standard play as to not be bad-mannered, even though I believe this just is Battle.net, no real special game here underway. We should be seeing a barracks being placed down in just a moment by Root Drewbie, and I'm a little curious as to why there isn't a scouting probe coming in yet from Tyler. Yeah, there we go, now finally moving out after, or now scouting out after that gateway was placed down, and will be able to come across the south side of the map, perhaps activate a Xel'Naga Watchtower too. And now this early portion of the game is underway. We do see that there is a refinery currently over here, and I'm learning from QX streams right now. So apparently Tyler's watching Root QXC's streams as well in order to learn his TVP timing. So wow, I guess they're scouting each other for any possible tournaments that may be coming up. Root Drewbie now currently will be able to finish up this barracks in just a moment. Currently has 3 SCVs on gas, as Tyler perhaps going to try to do some harassment on this one SCV. No, will not be able to get any damage anywhere on that SCV, as a Marine now being trained. And this one probe needs to get the heck out of there. It will not be able to stick around for far too long, as we now see a supply depot being placed down. So Root Drewbie will have plenty of food for quite some time. And as a Terran player, this is one of those moments where you're not quite sure whether or not you want to build a supply depot, or if you want that factory down. I think the timing on this is going to be perfect, where that he can start, or he's going to halt his SCV. No, he's not halting his SCV production. He should be able to get up a factory in just a moment, if he does try to build one. And it doesn't look like he's doing anything like that just quite yet, as an SCV now wandering around on the inside, able to see the double gas in just a moment. So yeah, Drewbie now coming in, and will be able to see that double gas and being played down over here, and now the SCV trying to move away. We do see another barracks being placed down, and now another barracks as well. So this is not your typical 1-1-1 build by any means. This is going to be Marine and Marauder off of 3 racks, and now we should not see any new refinery coming in anytime soon, as Root Drewbie does need a lot of extra minerals. Marauders and Marines are both very mineral intensive. We do see the concussive shell now being trained up, so those concussive shells on those Marauders will slow down some of those units, and we may have a small moving out of these units here. We do see a Stargate now coming in from Tyler, so Tyler with that Stargate may be able to get some early void rays and get some harassment down. Are we going to get reactors onto these barracks is going to be a key question here. We now see 1 reactor and another tech lab, so he will be able to double train up Marines while trying to train up more Marauders as well. We'll see if we're going to be able to get enough void rays in the air. Stargate only takes 60 units at a time. You can double chrono boost a void ray in order to get it out in 40 units at a time, and that will be a lot of damage. So I believe this early attack by Drewbie will be pushed back once 1 void ray reaches the air. There is 2 zealots in addition to 1 sentry on that low ground, and now those units are moving out. More Marauders, a Marauder and more Marines are now still being trained. A tech lab now being placed down in order to get that stim pack upgrade. We should be seeing concussive shells. There we go. Also getting that refinery for more gas, as SCVs are now on the move. No expansion attempt yet over here at the 6-minute mark in the game, which is which is normally the time when I believe Protoss players normally like to expand. However, and this is not happening so far, as we now have a Phoenix coming into play. So it is not going to be Void Rays, it is going to be Phoenixes, and those Phoenixes are going to be able to do a lot of harassment, and down goes one of those SCVs. A quick scanner sweep revealing not too much, only the double gateway and this one cybernetics core. However, he does know about the Stargate, as that one Phoenix was able to run around the map. we should be getting that combat shell sometime soon as well, or combat shield sometime soon as well, as a combat shield will give an additional 100 hit points. There we go. Oh, sorry, 50. My goodness, my numbers are all messed up. An additional 10 hit points for these Marines, totaling an additional, wow, 140 or 120 hit points here. Yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm all quite clear-headed. Perhaps I'm still fighting off that cold, as those Phoenixes are now coming back in. So we do see Stim Pack nearing completion. Combat Shield has a little bit more time, and these Phoenixes want an additional friend in order to be able to try to press, perhaps pick up a Graviton Beam, an SCV, and take it out of the sky. No, unable to, as those Marines are almost able to get underneath it. The Stim Pack is nearing completion, and now we should see a reactor with a starport coming in. So this is going to be a 3 racks play into a factory. The factory only there to open up into starport, as we want that reactor. One Marine quickly getting shot down there. So, able to survive that hit, only taking 2 shots from that Phoenix instead of a 3rd one there. And that one Marine will live to fight another day, and should have full hit points in just a moment, as the starport is nearing completion. Back over here, the Phoenix is looking for more and more SCVs to deal damage against, perhaps trying to pick up a mule. No, not doing so, as those Phoenixes are now looking for the majority of that army. Is it going to deal any serious damage? No. As these Phoenixes now move off to the north, he realizes that he has to figure out where that army of Marines and Marauders are moving out. He does see them and now tries to move back over here. We have a lot of sentries and a lot of zealots on the ground. So Sentry Zealot now currently on the low ground, as more Stalkers now coming in as well. This army is mainly comprised up of Marines with some Marauders, so those Marauders are there simply for concussive shell slow, similar to Dryads in Warcraft 3 with their slow poison. And now, very, very nice force fields coming in. Marines now trying to deal some damage against some of those Zealots. However, 2 Marauders and I believe 1 Marine was quickly taken down. We now see more Marines joining in on this fight. Army-wise, we can see that Drewbie is a little bit behind, 1750 compared to 2100, and Tyler also has a much stronger gas army, as 2 medevacs now going to be joining this army in just a moment. You can see that there is a factory over here, not really building anything just quite yet, as the Orbital Command did use 2 scanner sweeps, so he is significantly behind on money at this time. He should be trying to set up an expansion sometime soon, as we are now passing the 10-minute mark. Marines now moving out in order to deal some damage, quickly getting a lot of damage dealt across, and now the Stalkers coming in. So there's a very nice flank coming in from Tyler, and Tyler now in trouble. However, there was an elevator drop coming in, so Drewbie now coming in, dealing a lot of damage, now trying to fight back against these units over here. Will be able to get some damage dealt, perhaps deal some damage towards some of these pylons, and then some of those Zealots. It needs to damage that mineral line. Otherwise, it's not really going to be worth it, as those Phoenixes are going to be able to take down the last medevac. Another Phoenix now coming in. There's Marines trying to finish off more of those units, unable to get that last Phoenix over there. And that Phoenix has been taken down. That medevac now taken down. Phoenix is low on hit points. Marines still in that back over here, trying to get as much damage dealt across multiple units, and now using more Stim Pack in order to push and deal more damage. 1 Stalker able to escape at 7 hit points, and now Liquid Tyler is very, very far away from the map. We do see more Marines now coming in, so Marines just purely stimming, trying to come into this base, trying to deal damage across multiple probes, as we now see a command center being set up over here. So Drewbie just buying himself time with a little bit of aggression in order to be able to set up this expansion. And down over here, we perhaps may see a command center, or some bunkers here in just a moment, as we are now getting another drop. So Drewbie now moving out with another drop. We do still see 2 medevacs here, as another army of Stalkers, Zealots, and Sentries are on the move. We now see 1 Phoenix over here though as well. The Phoenix is relatively low on hit points, and now this 1 Marine making the very, very long trek all the way home. And now more units are still being trained. This is going to be very difficult. If Tyler attacks at this stage, he can simply just attack, move into the space, and perhaps even win it. As the medevacs are still being trained, more medevacs still being built up. Zealots may just simply try to run up that ramp. The command center over here is nearing completion. Marauders now trying to fight back as well. There are a couple of sentries and able to cast some force fields and catching many of those units off guard. However, we have another drop into the main base here. So many of these Marines were able to get a lot of kills and now force a lot of those a lot of these probes into the main expansion over here. So both sides doing a base race. We do see another barracks now being placed down. Perhaps some of these SCVs. We do see a lot of medevacs over here. Now SCVs coming off the mineral line, doing a line of attack. In comes some more force fields. Nicely done. SCVs getting caught out of position. But more Marines and Marauders are coming into here, trying to take down some of those pylons and now going after those probes. Probes are now falling over here as both sides just continuing to fight back and forth. Marauders and Marines trying to engage. Tyler pushing out with those Stalkers, Zealots, and Sentries, and Tyler has a much stronger army at this time. And now this Marauder, oh, the medevac now taken down. SCV is lost as well. We now see this command center now being lifted off. So Liquid Tyler not saving that one command center, going to have a little bit of problem here as Liquid Tyler, or as Drewbie will be able to finish off this Nexus now. And now taking a look at the unit combination, we have 13 probes. The probes hiding off over here, and he does have enough minerals to warp in another Nexus. And while we see Root Drewbie currently sitting on a command center, should be able to start mining some more minerals in just a moment. There is only currently one SCV. Tyler now currently being revealed as those Marines and Marauders now make it up that ramp, trying to deal more damage, taking down some of those pylons as well. Pylons are getting picked off one at a time. One of those pylons down to 48 hit points over here, and now doing a very, very emergency evac drop, getting the heck out of there and able to survive at 98. We now look at over here, Drewbie currently could upgrade to an orbital command, needs to get some additional SCVs. We now see one Hellion trying to fight back against a large number of Zealots, and that Hellion definitely has its work cut out for him, as these Zealots are now lining up in a nice line for him, getting a lot of damage dealt. There we go, Factory now lifting up as well. This Hellion trying to get as much damage. These barracks are starting to burn, and down goes that barracks, and now we have a mule being called into here. So Drewbie now will be able to start mining some additional minerals. Don't quite know why he didn't mine out of this location. That would have been absolutely perfect in terms of mining, as some SCVs are now gathering some additional minerals as well. We now see some Hellions, Marines, and Marauders finishing off those last couple of Zealots. And now will this SCV even bother repairing? It should try to repair that this one factory. That factory is very, very low on hit points, down to 80 hit points already, and I think that's going to be a horrible, horrible loss. They're calling in a mule in order to start repairing, and there we go, Root Drewbie saving that one factory. And now we'll be able to continue to save that tech. That is very, very important, as otherwise that factory would take an additional 60 seconds to build, and that would be very difficult. Root Drewbie now trying to train up more SCVs out in this location, and also calling down mules, training up Marines, as both sides are pretty much reset at this stage in the game. Tyler does not have any armor, doesn't have any weapons upgrade, but he does have one Nexus down, currently just trying to mine out of this location here. Perhaps we should see another Nexus come in just a moment in this location in order to be able to harvest some of these from these assimilators as well. These assimilators still have a large amount of gas, so 1,500 gas each in these assimilators from the original 2,500. So now the orbital command will be able to call down more mules, as well as both sides are just trying to figure out what exactly the other player is doing. Marines and medevac now on the move, and now once again doing a little bit of a pickup there, not quite sure. And Tyler's saying that he has 17 probes, not exactly sure why you would reveal that to your opponent. And then Drewbie says nice, and saying that he does have a pretty significant economic lead. Meanwhile, we now see that Drewbie should be able to mine out even more minerals, as he has 2 mules, 3 SCVs, and he said 4. So I think he's just simply lying at this stage, as he does definitely have more SCVs. He has a lot of SCVs here, currently sitting on 6, and then an additional 6 over here as well with that mule. So that is a very, very strong economic advantage that Root Drewbie does have, especially considering he does have mules in play. Those mules are going to become very, very important, as we are now getting siege tanks and siege tech. It's okay, 1 mule equals like 15 probes. So both of them just talking back and forth and just having a lot of fun so far, as both sides continuing to get even stronger economies going. So we now have Marines here. The Marines do have that combat shield. They do have stim pack, fully upgraded Marines. Doesn't even bother with the tech lab anymore, and now simply going to train up siege tanks, as the anti-stalker unit. Siege tanks do attack relatively quickly, an attack speed of slightly more than 1. Yeah, 1.04, and also able to take down a stalker very, very easily. Stalkers attack slower and deal less damage against a siege tank. Siege tanks now sieged up on that low ground in this position here will be able to blast away, and I think that was absolutely critical. Tyler should have known that there was a command center here. He was able to scout it out, I believe, during that earlier push. And now, if he doesn't know about it, we now see another command center, being placed down by Drewbie. So Drewbie now trying to run off of 3 bases. Meanwhile, Tyler is only working off of 1. We now also see a robotics bay coming in. So perhaps Tyler does and believes that he can just simply attack move with Colossi and take this game. A second observer now being trained as well. I'm still surprised that we don't see another Nexus here, if not for the minerals, at least for the gas. We now see one Stalker trying to figure out exactly what's happening as Drewbie is still getting more and more Marines. Hellions now being trained, and now in comes this Stalker. This Stalker will see its heart sink in just a moment, as there are some SCVs currently mining out of this location here. It should just start attacking and trying to pick off some of those SCVs. SCVs taking a fair amount of damage there. One more shot, and now this one Stalker will be able to finish off this one SCV. SCV down to 5 hit points, coming back to get killed. There it goes. And now we also see an observer coming in here, so Marines and Marauders trying to take down this location here, and now another command center being placed down here. So Tyler realizes that he is in trouble and he needs to do something in order to get back into this game. Not quite sure why he's not taking down these rocks in order to take up this expansion here, or even try to take up this expansion. We now see that the Stalker has been taken down. Drewbie still very much in the lead at this stage as the game continues. The Harvester count is now in a favor of Drewbie, and he's also getting more gas per game minute. With 2 medevacs in the air, siege tanks on the ground, he should be able to do a lot of damage. Are we going to get any siege tanks? No. No siege just quite yet. In come those force fields. Nicely done. The Hellion could have finished off that last sentry there. And now that one observer being forced to pull back, those siege tanks are not going to siege up. And if they did siege up, I believe a lot of damage would have been dealt across multiple sentries and zealots. Back over here, another command center now being upgraded to an orbital command will give Drewbie an even stronger economic lead, as he's still training up more and more SCVs. Quickly, we'll be able to get up to about 45 SCVs in just a moment, as we are now double training Vikings. Double training Vikings, very, very important, as those Colossi have a very, very long range, 9 range against and splash damage against these Marines and these Marines, Marauders, and these siege tanks. So Drewbie just comfortable in sitting in his base and simply allowing Tyler to come to him. One SCV quickly getting taken down here. Siege tanks now coming in, and now, yeah, I should probably just completely ignore that, as those Marines and Marauders try to fight back even further. More force fields coming in as well. So those force fields stopping any of those units from being able to give chase once again. And now we have Marines and Marauders on the low ground, preparing to start blasting away onto this high ground here. The Colossus instead going to push into the main base, as more mules now being called in once again. Stalkers do not have Stalker Blink, will not be able to get up onto this high ground, as we are double training Vikings off of that reactor, and now we'll be able to get a lot of Vikings in order to counter the 2 Colossi that are currently in this game so far. Stalker's now just simply going to walk into this base, and it's going to be very bad for Drewbie. Drewbie most likely will be faced with a force field here in just a moment. Are we going to get a force field here on the ramp? No force field just quite yet, as those sentries are just simply content with taking down many of those Vikings as they're trying to be trained, and things are not looking good now. Tyler moving out with that larger army and dealing a lot of damage. Siege tanks now sieging up on that low ground, and now that he's sieging up on that low ground, he's forcing a lot of those sentries to not be able to force field all too easily. There are a lot of siege tanks still, and now able to just deal so much damage back and forth. Vikings, however, quickly getting picked down by those Stalkers. One of those Colossus down to 40 hit points here, as these Marines and siege tanks are going to slowly try to make it up this ramp and get back into this game. Zealots able to take down many of those SCVs as well. Marines and Marauders trying to stim once again. Only 2 Colossus, as the more force fields being laid down, and this is not looking good at all. Siege tanks trying to fight back, trying to deal as much damage against those Zealots over there, as those siege tanks trying to blast away over here. Both sides both sides just exchanging armies, and now Liquid Tyler faring very, very well, able to get so much damage dealt, and now only 1 siege tank left, a 450 mineral army, and down goes that last Marauder there, and now things are once again not looking very good, as this one barracks may get taken down, and now Drewbie is going, no! So just a nice casual fun game. We do see 4 racks now being placed down at the main base over here, and Drewbie says GG. So Drewbie losing to a game to Liquid Tyler here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. I thought that Drewbie did have a little bit of an economic lead by taking up to 3 bases, but those powerful Colossi able to get so much splash damage in addition to that well-placed force fields by those sentries, gave Tyler the win. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Tyler and Drewbie here in the Xel'Naga Caverns.